Good morning, welcome to 59 Minutes. My name is Levi Konas. Every now and then there are people who leave what they are doing to go and jump into the murky world of politics. And they do it for various reasons. Many they do it because they want to serve one another. Others for careers, others, well, new experience. This particular morning I have a gentleman who went into the murky world of politics, tried his hand at an MCA ward seat in Moranga, and came out with his hands a bit fried. His name is William Waithaka, commonly known in that area as Waithaka wa Odinga, and ran for MCA Mugumo Ini, yeah. Is it?
Yeah, Mugumo Ini ward, yes.
Mugumo Ini ward.
Yes, yes.
Yeah?
Yeah.
And things did not go very well. First
yeah,
of all, why do they call you Waithaka wa Odinga?
Because number one, I started, I think I was the first ambassador for Odinga before even the general elections. You know, there was a BBI before that. There was the politics of BBI, and it started from there. And I had a lot of association with Odingaism. You know, back then, talking about Odinga was more or less a taboo. So I was the guy who was always talking about Odinga this, Odinga that, and it somehow got, hey, this guy, Odinga, you know, and it caught up, and I think it's a good name.
Yeah?
It is a good name.
You ran on Jubilee.
Yes, I did.
Unfavorably in a area that was heavily UDA. You didn't think you were going nowhere when it was... I'm sure it's a relief that we can laugh now.
It is actually. It's actually a good. You know, it's good to start on such a light moment. It's very nice because pressure is mingi. Yeah, we went on Jubilee. That was under Azimio.
Yeah.
And things turned out, and honestly, we don't know what happened.
Yeah. Did you this ambition to run for a seat started when?
Number one, I've been more or less in service for the community for the last couple of years. I think it's a decade toward. It's more or less to a decade now.
Yeah.
Serving under other leaders who are in the community. I've served with the MP. I've served with more or less assisting people in the county government. So it started there, realizing that there are gaps that you can actually come and fill in for the community. And it also, I think it also comes from the community seeing you as their leader. It's not more or less you try to impose yourself. Because I remember this has come from, you actually have, the chronology of things, and the community itself is going to proclaim and tell you, no, we've seen you do this, we've seen you do that, we've seen you do that. And they believe that you have capacity and capability to even do more if we elect you or elect you in office. So more or less, it comes from within also. It's also a drive from within. You know, there's a passion to serve the community. And that forms the base of the ambition, why you want to do it. Because we have so many reasons of why people want to run for political office. There are various expectations. But mine was more or less now service to the community. I've been a champion for that, and given the opportunity, I'm going to meet the expectations of the community. Yeah, and there is the future.
So then, that was the reason why you tried.
Absolutely.
So you're trying, and you say, well, you want to go for a ward seat. Was there a specific reason why it had to be the ward seat?
Yeah, because I think the jurisdiction the jurisdiction of service more or less I had concentrated on was the ward. And you build up from that. You start from the ward, and maybe if you perform well, the community, you're also in engagement with the community.
I want your experience. So now,
you
decided you're going to run.
Yes.
You have outlined the issues that you thought, issues that you could tackle in terms of the challenges that people are facing.
Yes.
Ulienda kwa ground. Watu wanasema ulisikiza ground. Sijui ground unasikiza. You know, I always have this picture in my mind that kusikiza kwa ground is literally putting your ear down.
Unaweka chini na wewe. Unalala kwa nini unasikiza ground?
Unalala kwa nini unasikiza ground?
Unasikia vibration leo. Unasikia vile inaguruma leo. Kesho tena inabadilika.
So how did you go about it? Who did you tell? What?
Number one, yes, kwa ground tulienda. Tumekaa kwa ground. It was a good experience because number one, you meet a lot of people. To begin with, you meet a lot of expectations, you meet a lot of, so many ideas. Actually, ideas ni mingi sana kwa ground.
So you had guys telling you go for it?
Absolutely. Not one, not two, very many. And I was elected. Nilipata kura. Sikupata kura moja kama watu wengi, ama watu wengine upata kura moja. So I had a couple, and that is an indicator of something. You know, when those people trust you and give them your vote and trust your vote with you, it is an indicator that definitely kuna watu walikuwa wanakusikiza kwa ground. Nilisikiza ground, but I was also surprised because ni kama pia ground haikunisikiza. Unajua inafaa kuwa nipe nikupe.
Two-way traffic.
Nikisikiza ground nao pia inanisikiza. And that is why basically tunaenda campaign. So tuliongea na ground, tukaisikiza mimi, pia nikaipatia my side of things, and I was surprised by the outcome because number one, from what the ground was talking about, is the ground was ready to look at, especially the MP level downwards. The ground was ready to look at an individual rather than looking at the party or maybe the affiliation side. So the outcome was more or less a surprise to me because I think the confidence I had amassed through now engagements with the ground was that, you stand a good chance. But either way, I still thank the ground, walinichagua, na washukuru sana, walinipatia nafasi to just go and engage with them, give them a peace of mind, also try and demonstrate to them what I can do, wakinichagua. So it was good. It was good.
Yeah.
But to some extent, it was very, very punishing. Very.
Yeah. How does talk about money?
Yes.
Because
Yes.
They say averagely, if you're running for governor.
Yes. Yes.
You need about 100.
Over and above, yes.
Over and above, eh?
Yes.
100 million. That would be.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah,
And hiyo kidogo pia.
Imagine 100. You don't always calculate. If you need 100 million to run for governor's seat.
Yes.
As they say, eh?
Yeah.
And you're earning, because the governors are earning just about $1 million.
$1 million, yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Spread over 60 months.
Yeah.
Yeah?
That's 60 million.
That's 60 million.
Yeah. And even once in office, you're still spending money.
To get a job that pays you 60 million,
yes,
and you're going to spend 100 million, 60 million over 5 years, it doesn't seem like a return on investment that's good.
Yeah.
Unless, of course, there are other things that you would do to balance that out.
Yeah.
Which is what people say happens.
Absolutely.
Yeah?
It does, yeah. It does.
It makes it, yeah. So you're running, and MP, wanasema ni pesa ngapi kutaka MP?
Between, like, the Kenya Gazette had given our constituency around 20 million, 20, 25. But
20.
Guys, more or less to 30 million.
20, 30 M for MP seat.
Yeah, for MP seat.
I guess.
But some guys do even extents of even that 100 million.
Yeah.
Like I know someone who did.
Oh, I know.
Yes.
In where I come from, in Keses.
Yes. For MP.
A lot of money was spent, and the person did not get in.
Yes. Wow. Okay.
Okay.
The one I know.
Mambo ya ground.
Okay. The one I know got in.
Yeah. So, MCA seats.
Like especially in my ward, I was. I think like the threshold was a maximum of 3 million. And I think I spent close to 2.6 million.
2.6.
Yeah, 2.6.
Did you know you had that money when you were starting? Ilikuwa ni pesa ulisema okay, hii ni ya campaign?
Kulikuwa na ile tulikuwa tumetenga, yes. But then you also talk to your friends who come on board and people who now believe in your cause.
Yeah. And
they chip in. And
so take us through the campaign of an MCA seat.
Yeah.
In terms of money, what do you need?
Number one, you honestly need to have a kitty. That is something I also learned. and from the onset, have that kit ready. Because what we did was we were doing a lot of knee-jerk reaction, you know. You go to the ground.
So there was no budget per se you were following?
It was. I had one, but...
Kuna overall budget?
Yes.
Alafu hizi ni incidentals kwa ground?
Absolutely. And now you have to... You know, ground, there's a lot of... ground
I like how you're laughing.
You know, unaenda leo, ni wewe. Nionyesheni na mkono, kura zote ni zangu. Then the following day, your opponent goes there and the same one, and you look at that and it's like, hey. So there's a lot of reactory measures that you have to encounter during your whole campaign process, because more or less it's firefighting. You know, you go ignite somewhere and people start, you know, grounding on game, so your opponents are going to try and, you know, poke that dunge mashimu as much as they can, because to solidify and have that solid ground, you need to do a lot of investment. You need to do time, money, you know, self. You have to be there constantly, engagements, you know. So it is quite a lot. It is good to have a kitty beforehand. That is something I learned, you know. I was more or less, no, you can still make it without some of that, but I think it is good to have a kitty beforehand. It is good to do your mapping before. It is good to set your team before. And also try as much as possible from the ground itself. Make sure that the guys working for you are people who actually believe in you, because there is a constant exchange of money. You come up with a team, and the opponent will actually, you know, the first demobilizing, or whatever, let me call it that, the tactic they are going to use or strategies to maybe try and buy your guys out. So that happens a lot, and it was a learning experience. It was a learning experience. Yeah. Yeah, but money is also an essential budgetary item in a campaign. It is a factor, because as much as we try to infuse ideology, we try to also come up with you know, there is the constant engagement. Despite me giving you this whatever, you know, let's first of all have a discussion. And I actually got to a point that I wouldn't dish out cash myself. You know, I wasn't going to really shika me. That was because you realize that you lose the focus. You lose even you know, your core focus on why you want to go in. Because once you start doing that, it's more or less like you're buying the seat. You're buying the seat. So most of the time was money to facilitate, you know, movement. You know, maybe you have your team, and maybe you're doing strategies and stuff like that. So a facilitation for such factors. Yeah. But I think once you go into
but yet there are places, like for example in Elementaita Ward.
Yes.
In Nakuru County.
Yeah.
There's an MCA there who won a seat while campaigning on a donkey.
Yes.
No materials.
Yes.
no nothing.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
We've got an MP from Webuye,
Absolutely.
Webuye East, who won a seat by simply, you know, drawing his aspirancy on stones.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And I could go on and on. There, in fact, in this election, we had a couple of guys who came in, you know, who basically didn't use much money. In fact, I saw an MP appear in Bunge on the day of the swearing in.
Yes.
And all he said he had was 200 bob.
Yeah.
So that guy came with an Uber even.
I did.
I think somebody paid the Uber for him.
Yeah.
What do you think makes the difference? Because sometimes I wonder with the literature.
Yeah. Those are some of the dynamics that you go and experience, and you realize that, okay, I think, in all honesty, I think ground peer, when ground in attack kuambia kitu, they'll definitely demonstrate that by doing contrary to what you're expecting. Number one, in the case of maybe like such a guy in Elementaita, you realize that maybe that was the first time maybe that ward was doing that. Maybe
and you know he removed a majority leader.
Actually, that's why I'm coming now, because it also depends on the incumbent. The anger index. If it is that high, you know, if the incumbent had frustrated the...
So it's not maybe a vote for you, it's just we want to piss this guy off by electing somebody who didn't even have, you know, the money to marshal.
If we try and analyze cycles of politics, and maybe we can do that nationally at whatever level, you realize that now, you might, if this guy who was elected right now by the mercy of the electorate and he doesn't deliver, next time watauza kiti. So there is a very high probability that the person who will come in will definitely have to spend a lot of money to get. So more or less the cycle oscillates between mtu wetu, because like in this case they voted mtu wao. That guy riding on a donkey was mtu wao. So it oscillates between mtu wetu, and wale wengine. So wale wengine more or less is those guys who are, you know, who have capacity to even come and maybe inject a lot of cash and stuff like that. Yeah, and I think also it happens from our side. I think from Azimio we also think we can also try and use that as maybe what happened nationally, because the labeling of our party leader, not a party leader, but the labeling of our presidential candidate as a project. So it was more or less ile si wetu, and enmas tunataka mtu wetu. So I think that was more or less
it played out even in national politics.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So there was that, and I hope you know the problem is we have had cases whereby such a guy was elected in Meru, and he ended up disappointing a lot. You know.
True.
After 5 years, you know, the guy is a total disappointment.
True.
Yeah.
Was he re-elected, by the way?
I'm not sure. But I think by the time he wasn't. He wasn't by the time, because there was such a disconnect from.
We've had some one-hit wonders actually.
Yeah. So more or less.
Sometimes the electorate, you know, experiments.
Very true.
And the experiments sometimes go.
But they're very costly.
Right. Yeah.
Because number one, you know, like that MP, you know, they lost 5 years. They should look at it from that angle. You know,
on the cost benefits analysis.
Absolutely.
Where is the place for money and politics? Because we keep on saying, you know, we have a constitution that actually has a ceiling for how much you can spend. The only problem is we never seem to be able to actually, you know, enact that into action.
Yeah.
In the last election, you know, at some point they said they want to cap political spending.
Yeah.
And, you know, parliamentarians went to parliament and said, you know what, no caps.
Yeah.
Ile mtu anataka kumwaga amwage. Oh, I tell you. And the electorate has been conditioned over the years.
Yes.
You cannot talk. In fact, I say people who run for elections, and I give you guys marks. You have guts.
Yeah.
Because the amount of ask you get from the electorate is mind-boggling.
It is.
That's when you realize, kumbe, a lot of people die in your ward.
They do.
Yeah. Kumbe, a lot of people need school fees.
Yes. And even food.
And even drinks. Did you give out your number when you were on the campaign trail?
It is very public.
Ilikuwa inapoa?
Hata saizi, actually, to surprise you, today in the morning I've received a call that someone wants, she has 3 kids, and she wants me to bail out one, nimlipia school fees. So it just came in the morning today. I get text, I get, you know, they're constantly chatting you. They're constantly, wherever
trying
you meet
to add
them.
you to WhatsApp groups.
Absolutely.
Of this funeral and that funeral.
Yes.
I'm actually in 4 WhatsApp groups right now. And I'm not a politician.
Yes.
But I'm in 4 for a funeral.
Yeah, I'm in so many.
2 of them for guys I never knew in life.
Yes.
But I know somebody who knows them, you know?
Yeah.
And
so for us, our case is you have to try and resort to maybe have another phone number. I actually never thought that it would get to that level, but I think it is important because at some point you also need relief. Or, you know, if you constantly get bombarded by such, and it makes you lose focus. We also have our own bills to look at. You know, we also have our own things to run. So, but and then this tendency of, you know, if you definitely want to cut out or eliminate that dependency culture, you have to try and demonstrate that by leadership. You know, tell them, okay, fine, we've been doing this for the last couple of years. What can we do as a community to try and reduce that dependency on politicians to maybe mazishi? Guy dies, hapana hatuna gari ya mazishi. No, guy dies, hospital bills, and you know some of these things can be sorted through even legislative means, policy means. So some of those things, some of those dependencies can actually be eliminated. So during my campaigns, I realized, and I actually not realized, but I did have a lot of, I had constant town hall meetings, go to a group of guys, discuss with them, you know, just show them, elaborate to them, illustrate to them, tell them, you know, number one, we are here definitely, and I'm part of you. I'm bringing myself to that part of, I understand where we are, or you guys are there and I'm part of you. And we need to get from that level to maybe to another level. So if we do this and that falls maybe under my mandate or something like that, we definitely are going to get out of it. And I could tell there were some of the electorate, by the ground pia ni mzuri sana because there is grasp. Watu wakishika nini yako hivi, you'd be surprised. So next time labda hata sitatoa shilingi. Next time maybe I'll also ride on a donkey. Hopefully. Hopefully, but
the demands of the campaigns. Tell me about the day of the election, because you ran on a Jubilee Party ticket.
Yes.
You went all the way to the end.
Yeah.
How was the election day like for you?
For me, it was very eventful. So full of, it was actually, I think for 48 hours to elections, I never had adequate sleep. I think I was constantly even sleeping while walking, you know, sleepwalking. You know, it was very tiresome.
Kama harusi.
It's more than harusi. Because, you know, harusi, you have, the maximum you can get maybe engagement harusi is 500 people. Now this one's you're dealing with thousands.
No, in terms of the anxiety.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I'm
absolutely.
talking about
By the way, I think it is threefold. It is because you know, there is the constant phone calls.
Because Arusi, you're sure you're going to get married.
Yes.
This one you're not really.
Yes. And then you have so many harusis. One is going on very well. One is very disappointing. One is very frustrating. So there's you know, that mix of emotions. It's, you know, okay. First of all, I also thank God because I think He made us in a very, I think in a very special way, because our bodies, you know, the pressures our bodies can take is something that I've never exposed myself to such, and I think I came through out of it. So on that material day, there was a lot of, you know, there's a lot of, you have to be very vigilant. Make sure that you are constantly going through the whole ward. I remember it started on a very, very saddening, tough note, because I remember from the onset, we had to try and quell some guys dishing money. So trying to engage the law enforcement there was like, mnataka tufanye nini? And you're going to the SPD, there's some guys dishing out money, we've taken clips, nini. You know, such was evident. So you end up doing like, what are we going to do about it? So we definitely have to try and also come up with a countermeasure for that. Number two, there was some of our agents were not allowed into the polling centers. So we had to physically go there. You know, we had given them the letters, official letters, to go into the centers, to be allowed into the centers. But some of them were not being allowed. There was a lot of, okay, I would call them reasons that were not, you know, number one, I remember in one instance we were told that the letter we had submitted to our agents were not formal, were not official letters. Number two, we were told that they were supposed to come with letters attached to other documentation that we had not been prior informed about. And actually the template that we used to draft the letters was given by IBC. So there were just reasons that we could not fathom at that juncture. And they later got into the centers very late. So a lot of things had happened, a lot of things had transpired. We also later came to realize that some guys had actually spent, some agents on the other side had actually spent time or slept the polling stations. So yeah, it was quite eventful. So we had to make a lot of runs back and forth, back and forth. You are constantly talking to these people, talking to that people, talking to that, you know. A lot of things are being escalated to you, you know. So you have to do a lot of problem solving, you know, at that level, and then escalate it also down. So there was a lot of back and forth, a lot of running. You know, you have to go and hapa kuna shida, just come, you know. And if your guys on the ground could not handle that, you know, you had to physically appear there. So I had a chief agent and a very supportive team. I thank my guys so much. My agents were very supportive, wherever they were. Nawashukuru sana. But yeah, I think the landscape was definitely.
And things went the way they went.
They did.
So when the results started trickling in,
yes,
and it became apparent that you were not winning,
yes,
how did you feel?
First of all, the disappointment was very draining. Very draining because you know winning is not just is actually a process. Winning is also a process. You prepare psychologically. You start preparing yourself for a win, and I'm going to use this, but I don't think it is very appropriate. But you tell your brain some white lies. You have to feed your brain some positive. You know, I'm winning. So you constantly have to push that to your brain. And when that realization that definitely you have,
you're winning until you're not. You know,
absolutely.
One of the things that concerned me during this particular elections is for the first time we had two camps who were both winning.
Yeah.
Even after the election.
Yes.
You know.
Absolutely.
It was we're winning. Then the day of the election, even when the counting started, we are winning.
Yes.
No, we are winning.
Yes.
Then we had all those showbiz, you know, red carpet.
Yes.
You've got these guys preparing for an announcement.
Yeah.
You've got the other side saying, you know, it's over.
Yeah.
You've got, you know, counters and counters. We even had the presidential candidates at some point. You remember?
Yeah.
Martha Karua.
Yes.
Saying, you know, it has come home.
Yeah.
You know,
yeah, there was such.
I had a voice note going around,
Yeah.
and it was just a setup for a major disappointment.
Absolutely. If that was a blow.
And you could see for those who lost,
yes,
they were depressed.
Okay.
I've got friends who cannot read the newspaper even up to today.
You know, I think also, and I shouldn't be saying this, but putting on a brave face it is also something. You know, it's cosmetic. Because if we were to bring out everything that is in us, you know, most of the guys who ran, the blow was huge. You know. But I think the good thing was that I have had a very good supportive mechanism of now to try and, you know, get out of that. Because if the wrong thing is you get to that level of depression and you sink there and you stay there. You sink there, fine, you get yourself there, but then try and elevate yourself out of that situation as fast as possible. You know, try and do something that you're going to win, even if it is small. If your child at home doesn't eat, just try and mcheze nini and he eats, that's a win. So those small wins, you know, they are lifelines to actually getting out of that. So it is not easy. Like you're saying, you know, the stage was set, you know, and now the disappointment was at the ground level to Megongwa, you know, at the county level to Megongwa. So at all levels you have, because, you know, there's consolation when you realize, okay, I've lost.
Yeah. But my presidential candidates won.
Absolutely, because that is still a win somehow. You can at least you know,
you can bask in that one.
Absolutely, but now in this case it was like And how is Nani faring? Oh, the guy is... You actually realize you actually done better than your peer. So it takes time to try and come out of that. You know,
it does.
As much as
was this your first stab?
This was the second. This was the first at the ballot.
First at the ballot.
Yeah.
First time you just went to the nomination stage.
At the ballot, yes.
People always say, you know, that it's a drag.
It is.
That, you know, you...
It is.
Yeah, you know, these are the reasons why I don't run for office personally.
It is.
I'm just like, what?
It
Me,
is.
I think if I ran for anything
Yes.
and I lost, I think sitawahi inuka
Usiogope.
kuongea hata kwa baraza ya wazee.
No.
I always look at them, I'm like, people, by the way, if you ran for something,
Yeah.
hats off to you.
Yeah.
And you lost.
It's not easy.
And you are doing it for the third, fourth time.
Yes.
Oh my goodness.
It's not easy.
Yeah?
It's not easy. We take heart, you know, we take lessons, and you try and...
You try. So that's the question I want to ask you.
Yes.
So, will you try again?
I think so, yes. I believe so. I believe so.
This is like,
No, I believe
oh
so.
my goodness. They say this thing is like gambling.
I believe so.
Eh?
I believe so.
Given
Because
what you know now,
Absolutely.
what will you do different?
a lot of things.
Kwanza utasikiza ground vizuri.
Sasa yeah. Ground kwanza.
Ground kwanza. Wakisema left, left haraka sana. I wonder how much of polling of people one needs to determine what the ground is saying.
Yeah. Okay. I think the threshold is about you need quite a number. You need quite a number. And you okay. You know there are circles of influence within the ground, more or less. There are sectors that politically sector ya matatu. Those guys, you know,
They're movers and shakers.
so you cannot discount such people.
Yeah.
The border.
Border guys. Yeah.
Church. So you need to have those clusters of yeah.
Because I see there's a disparity sometimes
Yes.
that somebody can get even the political party ticket that is popular
Yes.
in that area
Yes.
and go on to lose.
Absolutely.
You know,
it has
with MCAs,
happened.
there are interesting parties
Yes.
that have successful candidates seated in MC in county assemblies today.
Yes.
You
Yeah,
know.
it has happened. It has happened. Because if you miscalculate, and you know, the other thing is that, and this is something that I think Wanjiku has not been wrong about, because so many times Wanjiku votes in a person and say, tunajua akiingia ataenda kubadilika. You know, so Wanjiku has not been very wrong on that, because like in such cases when a guy wins the political, maybe the popular party ticket, most of those guys tend to, they become something else. And that is why they lose. Because campaign is not yet over until the last.
Yeah, but the guy is already behaving like Kanini.
Absolutely.
In the last campaigns of the ones for 2017 before this,
Yes.
a friend of mine won a political party ticket.
Yes.
Yeah, a popular one
Yes.
in the area he was running. And the guy was on, he even left Tuko ground. Now he was in Nairobi, in the TV stations, talking like a MP incoming. Hey, come election day, bwana, wacha aoshwe.
Wanjiku
Alioshwa na independent.
Wanjiku wanaona tu wanaangalia.
Anaona tu, huyu jamaa sasa.
Itakuwa
Kaenda now he was talking like, you know, it's over. He even toned down on his activities. Now he was waiting to the last 2-3 weeks akuja chafue.
Maliza kazi.
Amalize kazi.
So Wanjiku is very vigilant. She's very observant. Very, very observant. And you can actually, you can be the most popular candidate. And just a few remarks out of your mouth, kusha. And you are kushat kapsa.
They end that story.
Kapsa. So the relationship between the politician and Wanjiku is something that you know, it's something that We have to give Wanjiku credit.
Yeah.
Yeah, because
What do you think your biggest take home, your lesson was with what you have gone through?
Is number one, as a person, as an individual, is how to overcome failure. It's not easy, but being there, going through that, and just because I know some guys who are worse off than me right now. So if I gauge myself with them, I realize that I'm in a better place of, because I can give them counsel. They actually call upon me to try and give them some encouragement. So the biggest lesson is going through and coming out of failure. That's a very big lesson. It's not a lesson that I think I could have gotten anywhere, but going through the whole process. So that's a good experience. The other experience is a relationship with people, how to relate with people, big, small, rich, poor, whatever. So that is also a very good lesson, and the parley, you have to relate to that person. Relate to that person in a very humane and very open way, despite now all other factors. So that's also another lesson, that relationship with the people is a lesson that is, I think I'm going to apply in other spheres of my life, and it's going to be very helpful. I know. Yeah. So there are lessons. Definitely.
I like what you have said, because sometimes there's somebody who said,
yes,
even when you lose,
yes,
if you learn the lesson,
yes,
then you still win.
That's a win, by the way. Going through that and coming out of it.
Yeah.
That
if you don't learn,
absolutely,
then you lose.
Absolutely.
You totally lose.
In totality.
Yeah.
Yeah, you lose in totality. So there are lessons. They are good lessons. Very, very good lessons.
Besides, there's this thing also that while people say, okay, fine, if you try and you lose, you should quit.
Yes.
The truth of the matter is, we all tell our children, try again.
Absolutely.
If a child, was learning how to walk,
yeah,
and then fell down while learning how to walk and said, this is not for me.
Yeah.
They'll never walk.
Absolutely.
The children get up.
Absolutely.
They try again. Wanashika meza.
Absolutely.
They get up until the day they walk.
Absolutely. The current guy, actually the guy who took the seat from me, niseme ilikuwa yangu.
Ilikuwa kiti yako. Si unasema ulikuwa umeiona, so
ilikuwa
yeah.
Had tried, I think this was the fourth time. This is fourth or fifth? Fourth, I think. So as much as yes, umeanguka. Actually, that is most of what is coming from a lot of guys who are calling me. Hey, don't give up. This is not next time. Don't even. And they are even the people who are telling you. Actually, the guy who's on the seat right now, kwani amejaribu mara ngapi? So I think
just repackage and try a bit better.
Absolutely.
Capitalize on this, that.
Absolutely.
What do you say to aspirants out there who have lost and depressed? Right now, by the way, we are talking 2 months in after the elections are over.
Yes.
And there are some guys who are really poor. It now bites. Unajua, the first month, you have that hope.
Yes. Yes.
Maybe there'll be a safety net.
Yes.
Maybe I'll get a job. Maybe I'll get a what. Then you enter the second month. Then you begin to realize that even maybe some of the people you're relying on to try and get you those placings are not taking your calls. Do not really care, busy about something else.
Yes.
I mean, look at us. We have got a government that's in place that isn't even fully formed yet.
Yes.
Cabinet ministers are not in. PSS ndio hao wanafanya
interviews and all that.
Interviews sahi. County governments are just packaging themselves. In fact, some places even like Nairobi, hata hatuna CCs yet.
Yes.
And then we're not even talking parastatals yet. Hizo ni mambo za baadaye. We're not talking heads of missions or ambassadors or things. I mean, those are things that are uko. You can maybe think of them in 2023.
Yes.
But here you are. You have no money.
Yes.
You
Yes.
you campaigned.
Yes.
Hope
Yes.
is dwindling.
Yes.
Every day, new players are coming in. Interests are changing.
Yes.
Maybe even some of the guys who will get jobs are guys who didn't vote for the presidential candidates.
It is happening.
You know,
It is happening.
maybe some of the loudest people who did will get,
Absolutely.
you know, completely out of the box.
Yes.
What do you say to aspirants who are going that moment of wilderness, and yet you must eat, and here's the cost of living?
Yes.
You know,
Number one, I think we also have to try and become leaders. We also have to be leaders of other leaders, because in this case, I've been engaging an organization that we really want to do something about that, because I realize there are so many of my caliber outside there, and it is worse, honestly, and it is going to get worse. It's going to get worse, because the sooner the realization hits home that it is going to get worse, the better for you, because you now, you first of all, this is where I am, and I want to get out of it. So the engagement with that organization, we more or less come up with a psychosocial support for candidates, because we really need that.
And it's many. I mean,
Yes.
13,000, almost 14,000 people are ready for
Absolutely, we
seats.
really need to do that. So
Like
the focus is
3,000
going
seats.
to be, we will try and do that within Kiambu, Murang'a, and within Nairobi. So definitely once we have everything in place, I think we are going to do that. Just try to bring them together. Let's talk it. We are going to share the experiences. And I also task our parties, our political parties, our vehicles. If you have candidates, kindly go back to those guys and just, give them that opportunity and platform to just come out and vent. It is also part of the healing process. If you just go there and shut them out, it's very cold outside. It's very cold. So I would also challenge and task maybe the political parties to, we will actually call them through that initiative. We'll also engage the political parties if they can bring, they can also come and just share the experiences. But that said and done, what I'm doing is not an initiative that is enough for the whole country. And it is something that I started with myself. I've been trying to do that. And some of those things I'm even also researching some of those things right now.
Yeah.
So it's not something that I'm an expert in, but these guys I'm engaging are they've done several stuff in the political field, so they definitely know one or two things that they can try and support candidates and aspirants with. So it is not easy. It is not easy, and we definitely need that. Some of the guys who are actually running didn't start campaigns 2 months to the elections. Some people actually, it took years,
True.
2 years, maybe 3 years too.
So it has really beaten.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So it's more of, you've invested even your personal energy, the monetary aspect and all that, and then it goes and the expectation, the outcome is not something that you're expecting.
Yeah. I hear you. We're out of time, sadly. I wish we could continue. And I guess this conversation must continue because,
it has to.
we're talking about real people and real things here.
Absolutely.
What's your take home? What's your parting shot?
My parting shot is, number one, there's so much to do for us. I think we should also, I think we're also going to discuss about what we went through, where we are right now, and what is out there for us to do, because there's so much stuff for us to do outside there. There's so many things actually happening outside that we should also try and engage ourselves, because I think we were going into that for leadership, and it doesn't stop at the election day. That is not where it stops. So we are on the other side of the fence, yes, but we are going to make sure that we survive the 5 years and still take part. There's a role. We have our roles inside the political arena, and we are not going to stop there. So to all guys who are outside there, when you ulishindwa, tutawasiliana. Let's talk to each other. Let's engage, and let's come out of it stronger and better and winners. Yeah.
Thank you.
Asante.
That experience is worth sharing.
Yeah. Thank you.
And thank you for being candid with us.
Yeah. It has been.
It takes a lot.
It was a moment to vent, and I'm very lucky to have such a moment to just come and.
My take home is skiza ground.
Ni kweli. Next time.
I don't know,
At
brother.
the end of site next time, we'll go to the ground.
Go to the. But you know, also ground anyway. Story for another day. But ground can also be misleading sometimes. All right. That's new. They can say left. When you're left, alafu umie bado.
Piga chini kama kitu. We'll see.
We are going to end there. It's 59 minutes for today. Stay tuned for Ilosu coming up shortly and have a wonderful, wonderful day.
Thanks.
Thank you, bro.
Thank you.